Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We are delighted that you're here with us today. We want you to know your soul is welcome. We have special guest Gwen Pearl with us today. And I don't think I have officially introduced Dana on the drums, but Dana on the drums.
Yeah, Dana.
I've got Dominic on bass, Marie and Russell, and here we go.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome, and all your souls are welcome here. Oh, yeah. 'Cause I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul. Is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, let me see your hands up. My soul is welcome here. Woo! My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this crisp October morning.
Good morning, Reverend James. It's great to see you. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. and in the warm and loving energy of this community's Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people who worship in temples, mosques, stone circles, churches, and of course, the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're just always so grateful to be together. And we're even more grateful when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Well, let's take a moment recognizing and knowing that we are always connected to this presence. And we commune with this presence for a moment now. And we remember the truth of who and what we are. Remember from which we have come. And we come from the one presence, the one power, the one reality that's known by so many different names. We may call it the divine, the Atman presence, the Buddhic field, or simply God, the all-knowing, everywhere present presence. Yet as we make this the activity of our awareness, then we begin to radiate within the depth of our being all the things that are good and perfect in our life and in our world. And we begin to attract those things to our life and to our world. So this morning we recognize all the high prerogative of our spirit that reflects who we are when we are at our highest and our best. And as enough individuals recognize this and live from this truth, this becomes the norm from which we see the world. And we're grateful for the opportunity to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence as we go forth doing our part to expand the all good in our life. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center that's reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to join with me as we say it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out these 5 basic universal principles to the best of our ability in our daily lives. Again, let's affirm them together as we speak them out loud. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And we can kind of relax in our action next week because daylight saving times ends, and so you can set your clocks back an hour and take a little more time getting here. Now, if you forget to do that, we will have extra coffee, so if you're early for church, you can still hang out and talk with people and get all buzzed on coffee. And then,
I think people might be late because we're going to lose an hour, right?
No, we're going back an hour. We get an hour.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, praise God.
Yeah, see, so technically right now it's only 10 minutes after 8.
Okay, all right. All right, well, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, it's better.
It's better, okay. Better is always better. Well, we had a magnificent cabaret this past Friday night for those who were there. I don't know, is it online that people could watch it if they didn't see it?
No, I don't.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But, it was an experience that you really had to be there. It was magnificent, and I just want to thank all those who participated in the cabaret on Friday night. I believe everyone had a magnificent time. We had some magnificent food. I think it was the Christmans and the Fujikawas that provided the food. Who else? Yes, and the Fujikawas, they provided some magnificent hors d'oeuvres for us. And you had to check out the decorations. Laurie and Mary Rupp did some awesome decorations for us. So it was a wonderful, wonderful, spooky experience. So we'll have to do it again next year.
So this Saturday, November 5th, SLC is hosting the National Hindu Exhibit. This exhibit is a national traveling exhibit, and we're honored to have it to come to us. The word darshana is a Sanskrit word that means viewing the sacred. And this entire exhibit consists of 24 panels of all aspects of Hindu culture, including history, religion, and contributions to society. Think about approximately 20 of those 20 of those panels will be here. So come next Saturday, and there's only a short period of time. It's between 1 and 4. They'll come, they'll set up, you come view, and they're going to take it down and go somewhere else. So take advantage of those 3 hours.
It's going to be great, yes, really enlightening and educational and transformative. And we are also going to have Ruth Rizos is going to come forward to share a little bit about our heart-to-heart, and she's going to let you know exactly what that is. So welcome, Ruth.
Well, good morning, Spiritual Life Center.
Good morning.
I'm Ruth Rizos, a member of your Evolutionary Council Steering Committee. And in 2020, we shared confidential heart-to-heart conversations with many of you. During the process, we found ourselves in a pandemic. Since so much has changed over the past couple of years, we're very excited to begin new heart-to-heart conversations. We've developed some new questions in response to those changes. What is a heart-to-heart conversation? It is a shared, sacred, spiritual experience of confidential, deep listening between you and a heart-to-heart facilitator. We want to learn about your vision for SLC, what's working, and where there are opportunities. We want to build community and make deeper connections. We'll compile the information into a community report that tells the experiences of our community, identifies themes, and connects us to our mission to transform lives. Whether you join us online or on site, sign-ups for heart-to-heart conversations will begin this afternoon. We invite you to sign up after next Sunday's church service in the courtyard, or you can simply send an email with your name and telephone number to ecouncil@slcworld.org. That's ecouncil@slcworld.org. After you sign up, a facilitator will contact you to arrange a time and place that works for both of you to meet and share a heart-to-heart conversation. Hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. And I know a lot of folks got a lot out of it, so if you really want to share what's on your heart, they're there to listen. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Gratitude Sunday is coming up. Wow, another year of Gratitude Sunday. And my friend and fellow minister, Reverend Ron Palumbo, will be our guest on November 20th, and he's going to speak that Sunday. He's going to be also teaching his healing and empowerment workshops at the Unity Churches that he's been doing at Unity Churches for over 30 years. And not only will be our Sunday speaker, but Ron will also offer 2 workshops. One will be after service on Gratitude Sunday, and you can attend this powerful 4-hour workshop using the law of attraction wisely. We hear a lot about the law of attraction, and we're always attracting something, but we want to be able to use it wisely in our life. And then if you want to dive deeper, you can join Ron for the Healing and Empowerment series on Monday and Tuesday evening. And you can either go to the workshop or go to the core classes, or you can just do all of them and just get flooded with a lot of great transformative information. So the full details are on our website, and you can register starting this Wednesday online.
And remember, we have many other activities, including small weekly groups. So to discover all of those happenings at SLC, you can go to the courtyard, look at the bulletin board out there, go chat with the ladies at the hub. And of course, anything that you could possibly ever want to know about SLC is on our website.
And at this time, I just invite any of our board members that are present and our chaplain that may be on duty just to please stand. And the chaplain that's on duty today is wearing the white stole. And as always, if you have a challenge that you're going through or just something that you want to celebrate in your life, they're there to pray with you, to see things from even the higher point of view. So we appreciate their service and the consciousness they bring, and they're available to serve you today with prayer. And our board members are also doing a great deal behind the scenes. They bring their time, their talent, their skill to move the community forward in their unique ways, and they just love what they're doing here at Spiritual Life Center to serve you in the best way that you can be served, and they are available to answer questions if you have any questions of them after the service. So we thank them for their contribution to Spiritual Life Center.
We love to greet our newcomers, so in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first, we want you to know that there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center, and you can get more information about small groups and other things by filling out our welcome card. Now, that welcome card is available online. You can go to our website, fill it out, and submit it, and then we'll get back to you. If you're here in person, raise your hand. We'll give you the card, fill it out, take it to the welcome table in the courtyard, and they will have a special gift and a very warm welcome for you.
And if anyone's here for the very first time, we invite you to raise your hand. I know there's someone right in the back that just there, and someone right up front here. We just want to thank you for your presence, and we'll give you the card that you can fill out if you want to stay in touch with what's happening at Spiritual Life Center. We thank you for bringing your awareness and your consciousness and the uniqueness that you are today. And we affirm and support you on your journey as you continue to grow and develop and unfold in your life. And we're here to support you in that endeavor in any way that we can. And with that, we invite you to not only greet our newcomers, but greet one another in a manner that feels comfortable for you. And just say, you are marvelous and glad you are here.
Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power, spirit in me. Thy cosmic design, audaciously fine, I align with my divine identity. So let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Of your heart and mind, intentions refine, I align with my divine identity. So let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power, a spirit in me. Whoa, yeah. I got the power, I got the power, I got the power, yeah, yeah. I got the power. compare and contrast. I got the power to erase my own past. I got the power to choose a direction. The power to question my perception. I got the power to be stronger than before. I got the power to step through that open door. I got the power to honor all life. I got the power, peace and harmony. I got the power to break the chains of habit. I got the power to shimmer and dazzle. I got the power, so let there be light.
Well, we're in our Faith in Action series, and as you know, for those who've been part of our community for many years, each week we have a topic, and for each week we also have an artist that comes forward to do an artwork that aligns with the topic and to give a pictorial representation of the topic for the week. And this topic, of course, is love and wisdom, and we have Reverend Penelope Clement, who has presented her artwork. And her title of her painting is Heart Wisdom. And here's what she writes. We all have a universal heart that is full of love and wisdom, without being limited to our material awareness. This painting shows 4 steps to awakening our universal heart. The lower left, number 1, the heart is asleep in the waters of life. It is doing its job keeping the body alive, but it is not talking to us. And then number 2, the lower right, the heart breaks open and we connect to others through powerful emotions. We become more sensitive and aware of the thoughts and emotions of ourselves and others. And number 3, the upper left, as the heart becomes more sensitive, it starts to awaken and rise out of limited life experience. We gain vision and purpose in life. And then the upper right, number 4, the heart was integrated into the cosmos. It still connects with those in the waters of life without being immersed and caught up in them. It can now share its love and wisdom with all. So, Heart Wisdom by Reverend Penelope Clement. Thank you.
Very nice. So, over the past 5 years or so, many of you know that we have engaged in a process called quantum living, or the Q, you'll hear it called also. And one of the processes that we went through as a community was to identify some of the things that we would like to have compassion for ourselves and each other around. And these are the ones that came to the surface, and we're going to speak them together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful, because this is who we've come here to be: inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. Always good to remember these things. And now we speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with divine, each other, and our planet. Now we're going to sing this beautiful chant in preparation for meditation.
I the glory I am. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am in the love and the glory, in the light, in the love and the glory, in the love and the glory, I am. I am in the love and the glory, in the light, in the love and the glory, in the light, in the love and the glory, I am.
In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. As we move into this time of inner knowing, take a deep breath and let it go. Take another deep breath and let that one go. And now breathe naturally and watch as with each breath your body begins to relax. Drop your shoulders, loosen your hands, relax your eyelids. And as you take another breath, float your awareness to the center of your chest. Greet your heart. Feel your heart. Hear your heart. Watch your heart. A rich pink light emanates from behind your heart, reaching out to envelop you. The light feels warm and tingly, filling your body with vibrant, harmonizing energy that can only be named divine love. Immersed in this light, feel and know your world as it is meant to be. Unified, whole, harmonious. Love permeates your very being. You are infinite love. And as infinite love now, float down into your solar plexus, the geographical center of your body. Here at your center, brilliant yellow light shines like the sun, drawing you in, enveloping you. Here, the light feels warm, knowing, and flowing. Your body fills with discerning energy that can only be named divine wisdom. Immersed in this light, your very cells vibrating with inner knowing. Discernment, right judgment flows through your entire body. You are infinite wisdom. You are infinite love. Your sunlight of wisdom begins to expand upward until it joins with the vibrant pink light of love. And the two lights slowly begin to rotate as they merge into a spiral of brilliant light, filling your entire body, dancing through every cell, bathing you in love and wisdom in the silence. There is only one light, one power that expresses the qualities of divine love and divine wisdom. In the allness of this energy, you are still and quiet with the inner knowing that you are a holy expression of love. As you start to become aware of your physical body, take a breath or two as you receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, divine love harmonizes and magnetizes you. Divine wisdom guides you in the ways of righteousness. When you open to love, when you open to wisdom, you become who you came here to be, a holy expression of the One. Remember this. Always.
I can feel it with each breath I take, through my smiles and laughter, through my tears and pain, pouring through me as it slowly unfolds me. It's the flow of my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps going it's time for change. There's a mountain meant for me to climb. At the peaks of lesson, it'll be sublime. And every step along that pathway bears my name, 'cause they're part of my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Waves crash down around me, and I see more clearly, taking baggage I don't need and releasing it. When I wash up yonder, braver, wiser, stronger, I will never be the same. Never be the same. In this moment, there's a perfect seed that will one day spring forth from herself I grieve, and I will step out of that crucible of pain, blossoming in my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Oh, my soul is growing, it knows when it's time for change. It's my evolution. It's my evolution.
Gwen Pearl.
Thank you all. Thank you, Gwen, for hanging out with us today and bringing that wonderful instrument with you as well. What do you call it? It's a
This is a soprano saxophone.
soprano saxophone. Yes. Ah, my evolution. Here for change. I remember there was a woman, and she was on an airplane, and she was with her son, she was with her daughter and her husband. And she was relating that she was very stressed that day. Her son was about 10 months old, and she was nursing him. And this was the first time they had flown together as a complete family. And she said she dreaded flying. And she remembers getting on the plane and saying, "God, please be with me on this flight." Because she didn't really want her young child to start screaming and bothering the other passengers that were on the flight. Needless to say, her anxiety at the time was really high. And she was, as I said, very stressed out. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as the plane took off, that 10-month-old child apparently did not care about her mother's prayers, because he wasn't having it. And he started crying, and in fact, he was wailing. And there was nothing that this mom could do. She could try to comfort him, but none of it worked. And she said she felt so bad for the woman that was sitting right in front of him. I don't know if you've ever been on a plane, and right behind you, there's a loud noise coming from a young child. And so her son was wailing right in her ear. And she knew that the woman was just going to turn around and just give her a piece of her mind and tell her to shut that baby up. But much to her surprise, that didn't happen at all. Instead, the woman turned around and she looked at the mom and asked, "Can I try?" And the mom was a little hesitant, but she thought to herself, well, if this is a crazy person, well, she can't get off the plane, so it'll be okay. And she said, "Sure, go ahead and try." And the woman said, "Well, if it's okay, I'd like to hold him and I'd like to walk up and down the aisle with him." And the mom was so desperate, she said, "Do what you have to do." And she said she was at her wit's end. And that woman that was sitting right in front of them knew that the mom was struggling at that moment. And the mom was so disappointed in God. He said, "God, I prayed for help, and you just ignored my prayers, and you abandoned me. What good are you?" But she stood up and she put her son in the other woman's arms, and all the while the kid was still crying, not wanting to go with the woman at first. And of course, everybody on the plane was just staring at them. But what could they do? They couldn't get up and leave. But the woman took the child and started walking up and down the aisle. And the mother was watching. And then sure enough, the child stopped crying. And the woman sat down in the airline attendant's seat. And she held the child for the entire flight. It's like 3 or 4 hours. And the mom said his hair was all wet, sweat was coming down and all on the woman's arm. But that woman would not give the child back. And the mom said she was relieved because she needed a break. And then they finally landed, and then the mom said, "I can't thank you enough." And suddenly it dawned on her that, yes, her prayers had been answered. Because that woman sitting next in the next seat clearly was sent by the universe. And she said that the woman who was holding her child was in tears, and she handed the boy back to her mom and said, "Thank you so much for letting me hold your son. Because I lost my son a few months ago, and you were answers to my prayers." And the mom teared up and said, "You were the answer to mine." And the mom went on to say, "You never know who may have been sent from the universe so that everything would work together for all the parties concerned." Everything worked for each party. You know, there's a statement that says in Romans, the 8th chapter, and the 28th verse, that we know all things work together for good for those who love God, for those who are called according to God's purpose. And I believe this is a demonstration of the mysterious, unifying, harmonizing energy of divine and perfect love. Well, we're in this 5th week of our Faith in Action series of divine audacity. And as is pointed out in this text for this week, there are a lot of different definitions of love. And I've been leaning on this one definition I learned a while back, that love is supporting our own or another's spiritual growth. And sometimes that support doesn't always look like it's very loving. I remember, I was in a rehab center many years ago, and, we had other folks there at the time. And one of the things we had to do, if somebody was not living up to the requirements or the standards and the rules and regulations, you have a big meeting. And you would basically what they call pull up somebody who was violating the rules. And of course, folks around there, that were in that probably didn't want to be known as being snitches. But we had to do that in order to make sure that an individual would not be falling back in their recovery and their development. And so we'd have to pull that person up in front of everyone else. It didn't always feel good, but it was for the benefit of not only the person who had to do it, but for the person that it was done for. It is said that God, the universe, loves us so much that God cannot leave us alone. Sometimes I would think God would just please leave me alone. The good news is that we never have to ask God, is God going to love me? God is love, love itself. And this presence that we call God, whatever name we call it, is also within each and every one of us. So we will always be attracting whatever we need to grow to be our most divine, audacious selves in this world. And sometimes, unbeknownst to us, we may create circumstances that on the surface we do not like. In other words, sometimes we're creating a movie of our own making. And of course, we're always playing all the parts. We're directing it. We're providing all the resources. We're providing all the energy. We've actually written the script. We're playing everything, and things that we don't want to play, we may project them on another person and call them a villain, someone else. But it's always us creating the scenarios for us to grow spiritually. Growing spiritually is really one of the highest forms of love I think we can have. So sometimes we create a horror movie and a villain or a bad guy or a bad girl and, say, oh, I'm going to save myself from this person and all this stuff. But it's always us and the loving presence of God that is within us. And the movie is going on and on and on, and we're caught up in this drama, forgetting that we're playing all the roles. We have played them so well, and maybe we've denied that we've been playing them so well that we have projected them onto other people. And if those folks would just change, but maybe they've been sent to help us grow, develop, and unfold. And somewhere we believe that if we could just change all those bad people in our life, our life would just be okay. But as I was playing the role of Dracula Friday night, Dracula keeps coming back. You kill that bad boy, you move from one place to another, you may change jobs, you may put up your garlic, you may craft crosses, you may have all kinds of superstitions and affirmations, all kinds of things going on. You move from one place to another to try to get rid of a person, and that person shows up. They might be in a different sex, but it's the same individual. But all of that's happening for us to grow and to learn. God loves us too much to leave us alone. So it's all good. As the reading quotes Charles Filmer, the co-founder of Unity, on the power of love, he said, it insists that all is good. And by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality to finally appear uttermost in all things. We ask, how can we trigger this energy? And I think it's always starts by asking the right questions. We may ask, how does God see this? For God only sees this from the highest and best for us. Because how we see a particular situation determines what it is for us. Our perception, our viewpoint. Love calls it good. And love is that harmonizing energy of the universe. As it points out in Colossians that was quoted in our text this week, it says, above all, clothe yourself with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And I think this is what happened on that plane ride with the mom and the woman that was sitting right in front of them. Everything came together in perfect harmony to help all parties to grow. The mom, the woman, and the child who got a really good sleep on the plane. I think the highest law of attraction is love. And this energy of love is beyond words, but is more real and more powerful than any force that there exists in the universe. And I think when we embrace our wisdom faculty, which is the other faculty that we're talking about today, we recognize this power of love and how it lets us guide every aspect of our life. When we access wisdom, we have the ability to say and to do the right thing at the right time in the highest and best way. Those who wrote Proverbs says that remind us to tap into wisdom. The writer notes that get wisdom, and whatever else you get insight. Prize her highly, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. And wisdom is applied knowledge, where you know that you know that you know, you just know something is right. Sometimes we get that wisdom through experience, the school of hard knocks. Sometimes we get that wisdom through intellect and logical reasoning. But I think the highest form of wisdom comes through our intuition, our inspiration, when we tap into that all-knowing something. There's sometimes that you know something without any process of reasoning at all. There was a nurse who was responsible for caring for a patient. And the patient was doing very well after undergoing what was considered a minor surgery. In fact, the patient was scheduled to be discharged the very next day. Somehow, the moment she started her shift, the nurse had a bad feeling in her gut. For a reason unclear to her rational mind, she kept checking back on the patient. And each time she checked on the patient, the patient simply said, I'm completely fine. I'm doing completely fine. But like I said, unbeknownst to her, she decided to walk with that patient, because the patient would go out and just go for a walk, all by himself. But this particular day, in this particular moment, something told her to walk with him. I would say something, something that's another name for God. Ever walk around and say, something tell me I need to turn left. And we don't do it anyway, and you should have listened to that something. But anyway, she went out and walked with him. And he apparently had a very serious, dangerous heart condition because he passed out. And the nurse was told that if she had not been there, he probably would have passed away. And that day, the nurse believed that she was particularly in tune with her intuitive faculties, and that she had tapped into that all-knowing something that guided her to check on that patient and to accompany him on his walk, something she normally would not have done. She tapped into that something that we all have access to. I remember back when I was in high school, I took an exam in math, and there was one particular question I had no idea how to answer. But rather than leave it blank, I decided to put something down anyway, rather than just leave it completely empty, just take a chance. And out of the blue, this idea hit me. And it led me to use some sort of equation I'd never used before, had no clue what it meant or where it came from. And I said, I have nothing to lose. Let me just plug in the numbers and see what works. And I didn't think about it anymore right after that. And when I got my test back, the answer was not only correct, but the teacher commented that it was an equation that had never been seen before. And neither did I see that equation before. It just kind of came to me in some intuitive flash. Now, I tried to capture this some other times on some other tests. It didn't work because, you got to study a little bit, but apparently you got to give spirits something to work with in order to give you some sort of answer. So, but there was something that I tapped into in that moment. Despite that, I think there's something that we can learn to use to cultivate our whole intuitive power and tap into that infinite wisdom. But that's a whole different course that I have taken before, and to help you really tap into our wisdom. Anyway, Linda Martello Winston points out in Disney's Jiminy Cricket, who tells Pinocchio, let your conscience be your guide. I believe we all have this inner knowing, what to say, what to do at the right time and in the right way. And I believe that woman on that plane had a flash of intuition where she knew that she could calm that crying child. And that the force, whatever we call it, God, the divine presence, will bind everything together to work for the highest good for everyone concerned. That we all have an internal guidance system. When we follow it, it always leads us to that harmonizing power of love. I believe this is what the world is crying for today. This is what I believe the world is saying is important today. Because we know on a deep level, on a profound level, love is the remedy for the separation of consciousness that we are witnessing in our world today. And when we put to use our faculty of wisdom and our faculty of love, we begin to break down the artificial barriers that we have created between people, that we created between groups, that we created between nations. And we will begin to look at each other and begin to see beauty that God has created for all of us. And we'll stop seeing differences. We'll look at we'll say an individual that we don't know, look at that wonderful light that is shining through that individual. How does God keep doing it? We'll see life through a different lens, not an us versus them. We'll see the many variations of how this infinite spirit needs all of its variations to reveal its infinitude. I don't know if that's a word, it is now. We do our part, practicing this wisdom, bring forth this unifying love. You know, to paraphrase the great Jimi Hendrix, when we follow wisdom and insight, to know that when the power of love overcomes the power of the love of power, we will know peace in this world. Our seemingly upside down world will become right side up. So brothers and sisters of God, wherever you might be, we're here to be more than we thought we could be. Because the world needs us to be channels of wisdom. The world needs us to be channels of love. And as we do, we will manifest the divine audacity that's in each and every one of us. Peace and blessings to you. Well, each week we have an affirmation that goes along with our lesson that we invite you just to embody and speak throughout the week. And let's affirm that affirmation right now. Love magnetizes and unifies me. Innate wisdom guides my way. My light shines for all to see. Well, next week, Reverend Deborah will continue on with our Faith in Action series in the two principles of strength and order, and talk about the light of strength and order. So we invite you to be part of that. I'm going to do the meditation next week. And we invite you to be part of that experience as we continue on our journey of our faith in action for this year to help us evolve, develop, and unfold. And at this time, for those who happen to be online that would like to support the spread of this awareness to others, to spread this wisdom, to spread this love that the world is crying for, we invite you to support us with your donation. To give your gift or your donation, you can simply text us at 44321. Just write the words SLC Love, text 44321, and write in the words SLC Love, and you'll get all the ways in which you can give to us. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, and you can give in other ways, including by mail. Just click the Donate tab as you go to slcworld.org. And for those who are present, we just invite you to take your gift or your love offering and symbolically raise it to the heavens, which is ever-expanding good. And know that we're in the flow of a principle that says that whatever you give out comes back. And for those who have already given, either by mail, electronically, through automatic giving, know that the principle of what you give comes back is also very powerful for you. And so with that, let's affirm our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
We have the power to create a world with no war and no hate, where all souls near and far get to live in harmony and unity. And in this heavenly place, a mosaic of culture and race, there's a language that's used to bring peace and truth to all. Can you hear spoken here. It's spoken here, it's spoken here, it's spoken here. Now love can set us free to accept unconditionally, to see all humankind everywhere as divine and pure. That's what love is for. Love is spoken here. Oh, every word, every phrase, every action makes it clear. Oh, you can open up your heart and mind without fear. Oh, 'cause love is spoken here. It's 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 spoken here. Just feel the joy in the air now, the sweet peace and freedom you have, the comfort in knowing that love will always have our backs. Oh, love is spoken here. Love is spoken here. Oh, every word, every phrase, every action makes it clear. Oh, you can open up your heart and mind without fear. Oh, 'cause love is spoken here. It's 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 spoken here. Love, 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 oh, love, it's spoken here, it's spoken here, it's spoken here. It's spoken here, it's spoken here, it's spoken here. Love.
Good girl.
Love is indeed spoken here. And we bring this power of love to this very moment as we bless those who have blessed us with their gifts and their offerings, whether in person or online, as we remember that we are all in this together. And whenever anyone is lifted up, we all are lifted up. And so we look at this organization of Spiritual Life Centers, a place for individuals who look to be transformed and be lifted up to the highest and best that they can. And as that they do that, then it spreads out to all those around us as well. And we also affirm those who have left prayers in the prayer box. And we recognize that part of life is to work through the challenges and difficulties and the things that are unknown to us that we simply cannot figure out with our human mind. But we turn them over to the presence and the power and the love of pure spirit, which only knows divine and perfect spiritual solutions. And our task as we engage in our own communion with the presence is to raise our vibration to be one with this answer, so it manifests in our life and ultimately in our world. We know that these prayers that have been left will not only be lifted up by the energy that is surrounding them today, it'll continue to be lifted up as they go on to silent unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. So we're grateful that the answer has already been given. For as it says, before they call, I have already answered you. This is the nature of spirit and the spirit of the living God. And so it is, and so we let it be, and we are grateful. Amen. And with that, let us affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And with that, let us sing our peace song.
That is a soprano sax, not a flute.
That's embarrassing.